Our first scripture reading is Psalm 57, verses 7 through 10. My heart is steadfast, O God. My heart is steadfast. I will sing and make melody. Awake, my soul. Awake, O harp and lyre. I will awake the dawn. I will give thanks to you, O God, among the peoples. I will sing praises to you among the nations, for your steadfast love is as high as the heavens. Your faithfulness extends to the clouds. Our second reading is from Genesis. It's the first chapter of Genesis. When God began to create the heavens and the earth was complete chaos. The darkness covered the face of the deep, while a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw that the light was good. And God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, "Let there be a dome in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." So God made the dome and separated the waters that were under the dome from the waters that were above the dome. And it was so. God called the dome sky, and there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the sky be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the earth put forth vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees of every kind on earth that bear fruit with the seed in it." And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding seed of every kind, and trees of every kind bearing fruit with the seed in it. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. And God said, Let there be lights in the dome of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be lights in the dome of the sky to give light upon the earth. And it was so. God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. God set them in the dome of the sky to give light upon the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fourth day. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth across the dome of the sky." So God created the great sea monsters and every living creature that moves, of every kind with which the waters swarm, and every winged bird of every kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning, the fifth day. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures of every kind, cattle and creeping things, and wild animals of the earth of every kind." And it was so. God made the wild animals of the earth of every kind, and the cattle of every kind, and everything that creeps upon the ground of every kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make humans in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the wild animals of the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth." So God created humans in his image. In the image of God, he created them.
Beloved friends, the psalmist sings in Psalm 57, My heart, O God, is steadfast, and I will sing and make music. Awake, my soul. For great is your love reaching to the heavens, your faithfulness reaches to the skies. These words are so alive and so vibrant. You can almost hear the music in them. The psalmist's heart is bursting with praise, not because life is perfect, but because God's love is as high as the heavens, and God's faithfulness reaches to the skies. And then we go back to the first chapter of Genesis, and we hear another song, the song of creation itself, light and darkness, sun and moon, land and sea, birds and fish, wild animals and creeping things, humanity, all woven together by God's hand, a cosmic chorus, every living thing in harmony, blessed and called good. And together these readings invite us into a truth that is easy to forget in the middle of our busy, sometimes anxious, sometimes lonely days. We are a part of something vast and interconnected, creation itself. And God is right there in the middle of it all. We are never alone. The sky that holds us. Think for a moment about the last time that you looked up at the sky. Maybe it was at sunrise, the horizon glowing with fire. Maybe it was at night, the moon hanging like a silver lantern, and stars scattered like seeds across the darkness. Maybe it was just this morning, clouds drifting lazily by, carried by the winds that you can't see. The sky is one of the oldest sermons ever preached. It speaks without words. It has been above every human being who ever lived, every bird in flight and every mountain peak. You and I will never meet most of the people who live under this same sky, but we are still connected to them by it. Psalm 57, God's faithfulness reaches to the skies, and that's a way of saying that we cannot measure it, we cannot escape it, whether we're standing in a busy city or on a lonely mountaintop. The same sky is over you and me. The same love is over us all. The mountains that stand beside us. Mountains teach us another truth about God's love. It endures. If you've ever stood at the base of a mountain, you know what it feels like. Your problems feel small, your breath slows, and your eyes lift. The mountain was there before we were born, and it will likely be there long after we're gone. In Genesis 1, when God speaks land into being, there is a kind of permanence in that moment. Let the dry ground appear, and it does. God just doesn't create a flat plain. God shapes valleys and hills, ridges and mountains. The mountains remind us that God's presence isn't fleeting. It doesn't disappear the moment that we doubt it. It doesn't crumble when we're tired or worn down. Like the mountains, it stands, and sometimes just knowing that there is something solid and steady in this world can keep us going. The rivers that carry life. If the mountains stand still, the rivers, they move. They twist and they turn, carving paths through stone, giving life to everything along their banks. In Genesis, when God gathers the waters so that dry land appears, those waters don't just stay put. They flow. They nourish and they connect one place to another. Rivers remind us that connection is part of the design. We're not meant to be stagnant. We are meant to be in relationship with God, with other people, with the earth itself. Just as rivers join lakes, seas, and oceans, we too are joined to one another in ways that we don't always see. So when we feel cut off or when we feel alone, it helps us to remember that somewhere right now, the river is still flowing toward you. Life is still moving toward you. The fire that warms and dances. The Bible talks about fire in many ways, sometimes destructive, but often it's holy. Thinking of Moses and the burning bush, thinking of the tons of fire at Pentecost. In creation, fire is the sun's gift. Every flame you've ever seen is just borrowed sunlight, stored and released to warm you. The sun in Genesis is given to govern the day, to mark time, to bring warmth and growth, and without it, life as we know it wouldn't exist. And that's quite a miracle that sometimes we can forget. That every time you feel that sunlight on your face, you are feeling the constant generosity of creation. Fire, whether in a fireplace or in the heavens, reminds us of the passion in God's love. It's not cold or indifferent. It's a love that burns, that energizes, that lights the way when the night is dark. The rain that falls. Psalm 57 speaks of God's love reaching the heavens, and Genesis reminds us that water is part of the blessing from the beginning. Rain has this beautiful humility. It doesn't choose where to fall. It nourishes wildflowers on a hillside, crops in a farmer's field, and even weeds in the crack of a sidewalk. It falls on the just and the unjust, the grateful and the ungrateful. And when we stand in the rain, not rushing to get out of it, but letting it soak us, we feel something of that indiscriminate grace. God's love is not given to the deserving. It is given to all, because all are part of the creation that God called good. The birds that sing the morning into being. When God fills the skies with birds, it's not just about biology, it's about joy. Have you noticed how a bird song can lift your mood before you've even had your coffee? Birds don't sing because they have everything figured out. They sing because it is morning, because they are alive, and because that's what they were made to do. In Psalm 57, I will awaken the dawn, the psalmist is saying. I will sing the morning into being, just like the birds. And maybe that's part of how we fight loneliness, by choosing to add our song, our voice, to the chorus of creation, even on the days when we feel like being silent. We are not alone. One of the most insidious lies that loneliness tells us is that we are somehow separate, cut off from God, from other people, and from the world around us. But Genesis 1 tells us a different story. It says that we were made in relationship. The earth was never meant to be empty. Light and dark exist in balance. Land and sea depend on one another. Plants feed animals, and animals feed the soil, and people are given the call to care for it all. Psalm 57 reminds us that this whole interconnected web is held together by a love as high as the heavens, and that means we can't fall out of it. Even in our loneliest moments, we are part of something vast, beautiful, and alive. The call to live in harmony. Of course, knowing that we are connected comes with responsibility. Genesis says that God saw all that God had made, and it was very good, and that's a blessing, but it's also a trust. If the mountains teach us endurance, then we are called to endure with hope. And if the rivers teach us connection, then we are called to reach out to one another. If the fire teaches us passion, then we are called to bring warmth and light where there is coldness and shadows. And if the rain teaches us generosity, then we are called to give without keeping score. And if the birds teach us joy, then we are called to lift our voices for life. An open, accepting church is one that listens to creation's sermon and then lives it out. That means welcoming everyone under the same sky. It means protecting the rivers and the forests, not just because they are useful to us, but because they are part of the same song that we are singing. It means honoring the diversity of people as part of the diversity of creation. God's love is higher than the heavens, but remember that the heavens are not just up there. In the Bible, the heavens include everything above us, the air that we breathe, the clouds we watch, and the stars that we wish upon. That means God's love is not far away. It's always around you. It is in the warmth of the sun and the rush of the river and the rustle of the leaves, in the laughter of friends, and the quiet breath in your own lungs. When you feel alone, remember that you are living in God's love, the way a fish lives in the water. It is everywhere, it is sustaining you, and it is holding you. So we begin to see that creation is not just a backdrop in our lives, it is the community that we live in. The sky above you is not silent, it is telling of God's faithfulness. The mountains are not simply stone, they are witnesses to endurance. The rivers are not only water, they are pathways of connection. The fire is not merely heat, it is the energy of love itself. The rain is not just weather, it is grace made visible. The birds are not simply decoration, they are reminders that joy still rises with the dawn. And here's the thing, we belong in that community. We are one of the creatures that God called good. We are part of the harmony. We are meant to live not as an isolated note, but as a voice in the great symphony of creation. So when we feel alone, remember that every sunrise is a greeting from the same sun that has warmed countless generations before us. And every moonrise is a companion that has kept watch for millions of nights. Every breeze that brushes your cheek has touched mountains, rivers, forests, and oceans. And in that breath, we are connected to all living things. We will not always feel strong. We will not always feel joy. But we can choose to keep turning our hearts toward that shared horizon, the place where the heavens and the earth meet, and trust that God is already there, smiling at the beauty of it all. And as we walk together under the same sky, may we remember that no one is ever truly alone. Creation is with you. God is with you. We are with each other. We are not forgotten. We are named good by the one who made it all. And when we leave this place, the sky will still be singing over us.